What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Beasley. Hope you all are staying positive and cool out there. I'm coming at you guys today with a Season 5, Episode 4 review of the Potomac Housewives, Celebrations, and Strange Explanations. So, to kick off this episode, we have Giselle. She's taking her oldest daughter, Grace, to her dance class. And at the dance class, Giselle, full on awkwardness on effect. Like, she can't dance to save her life. Like, she is just pretty much embarrassing her daughter the whole time. So there's like a break in like the dance class, and them two sit down and they have a talk. And Giselle basically asks Grace, like, were you annoyed by me? And Grace is like, no. Were you annoyed by your father? And she's like, no. Were you annoyed by the both of us? And she doesn't really say anything, but she lies and says no. Like, Grace is over the both of them. Like, she sees right through the mess. Like, she's just this whole, in my opinion, Jamal and Giselle is just a scheme that Todd set up to come back to us with the BS. Like, it's just not real, and Grace pretty much sees what we see, and she thinks what we think at the same time. So we see Karen. She and her assistant Matt. Matt is back. I guess Matt is consistent. Like, I guess that's like her real assistant at this point. Like, we all thought that was just like a fake assistant. I mean, at one point he was a fake lawyer, but it is what it is. I mean, something about Matt I don't really vibe with. I mean, I love Karen, and I think it's mainly because there were rumors that he was going around town spreading like Karen's business to other people in the blogs, and I'm just like, for Karen to know that and still like hire him and pay him, it's just like, girl, you could find help from somebody else. But yeah, they're basically like discussing her party. Like, she's excited to announce to everybody that, like, this is her housewarming party, basically. Like, I'm here, I'm in Potomac, and I'm here to stay. And she also hires, like, a telegram to do the singing for her, which is, like, a really cute idea, in my opinion. So we go over to Wendy and Robin. They both go to the park. They take their kids to the park so they can go ahead and play football. And they sit down. They're starting to shoot the shit. Wendy thinks that Robin's gonna pull out some snacks, but Robin's ratchet ass pulls out some margaritas, and Wendy's looking at her like, girl, you got liquor and watching our kids? But Robin doesn't even catch that, so Wendy just lets that slide off to her back, really. So then they end up proceeding to talking about Ashley versus Candace and how much of a shit show it was. And then Wendy in this scene kind of surprised me for a bit, because she talks about how she's a loyal friend to Candace. Like, she even asked if any of the girls around the table were her friends, and including Robin, Candace said no. Like, I don't consider these girls my friends at this point if they're going to gang up on me like this. So with Wendy knowing that, she proceeds to answer Robin's question, which was like, what did Candace say about us? And then she reveals that Candace said that Giselle is a monster. And you know, Robin, she is just so far up Giselle's ass, so you know she's already going to go ahead and tell that information. Like, she couldn't even wait to go back to Giselle with the tea. It was just like, Wendy, that was... I mean, I understand we're in a reality show, we got to make TV and ratings, but girl, I got my eye on you, Wendy. So we then also go to Ashley and Candace. They meet up. Ashley comes in. She's struggling with her stroller. She can't find like any leg room to get the shit through. And then Candace in her confessional shades Michael. And she's like, Dylan is such a beautiful baby. Like, the only thing is he's really starting to almost look like Ashley. Like, hopefully like a little bit more Ashley's features are going to come in sooner rather than later. Basically, like, then they can look like Michael. And I'm sorry, y'all, that baby looked like he eligible for AARP at this point, y'all. Like, I'm sorry, like, I gotta speak my authentic truth and my thoughts. Like, this is my channel, like I gotta let y'all know what I'm thinking. But like, he's gonna grow up to be a handsome man, so no harm blood there. But like, I can't help but call shit out for what I see. So Ashley is basically not over Candace's tweets. Candace didn't even know that she was in labor when it happened. Like, that's the main gripe. Ashley's like, I was literally like about to give birth. Like, I having contractions while we were going through a Twitter feud. But Candace didn't know that. Like, you two are... There's a problem with these ladies where they can't really dish it. They can dish things out, but they can't take it for some reason. Like, it's like, you guys come at Candace, and then she comes at y'all harder than y'all did, And now all of a sudden, you guys turn into the victim, like a damsel in distress, like you can't defend yourself. Like, it's just like the lack of accountability with Ashley just frustrates me. Like she acts like she just is not in the wrong in any form or fashion at all, and it's just like, come on, Ashley. And then they proceed to argue while Ashley's even holding her baby, and then to break that shit up, Karen ends up sending out her invitation, and then they end up watching it. And then it's basically like a nice little telegram, like I said earlier. It was a very cute idea. I just love Karen. Like she is like the classy version of Jackie Christie, who I also love. My fellow Leo queen. Like Karen, she could just do no wrong in my eyes, y'all. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm biased towards Karen. I don't care. But moving on to that, we see. Also, I forgot to mention, they also ended up talking about Monique before the telegram came, and Candace says like she really did not know that Charisse and Monique were beefed out that much like that, because they even showed pictures of Candace and Charisse. Like they took a group photo. It was Candace, Charisse, and some of the other girls. I think that was at Ashley's baby shower. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then I can understand them taking a group photo, but they were standing right next to each other, like holding each other's waist. So it's like, Monique, if you're that beefed out with Charisse, why are you all hugged up against her? Like, the beef must not be that, it must not be that deep for you to, like, take a picture next to her. Like, I could be cordial with somebody, but I'm not going to be next to them in a picture, even, like, having my hand on them. Like, and I'm starting to think that Monique came out with the whole entire plot line about Giselle, Robin, and Candace trying to team up against her, along with Charisse. Because I think she saw the first 2 episodes and kind of saw that she was starting to look like the villain. So she went ahead and like came out and kind of revealed the plot line that was going to try to tear her down. And I love Monique, but I'm really starting to look at her sideways, y'all. Like, I'm really starting to think that, like, I came into the season thinking that I was going to be Team Monique 100%. But now every episode I'm finding myself defending Candace and seeing Candace's point of view, which is very strange to me because Candace, in my opinion, is very childish, can barely own up to anything that she does or says, and she rarely ever takes accountability. But I'm seeing like a little bit of growth in Candace this season. And I don't know if it's because, like I said, she's trying to like revamp her character because she didn't like the way she came off last season. Because last season she came off as a spoiled, petulant child. But I'm really starting to see a shift between both Monique and Candace. And Candace is starting to look like the underdog to me. And Monique is starting to look like the bully. Like, I don't know, y'all. Hopefully their beef will make more sense as time goes on. But right now, I gotta keep it real with y'all. I'm low-key Team Candace. So we also see, when that telegram got sent out, we see Robin and Giselle shading Karen, basically just hating on her because in reality, Karen runs circles around both them bitches. And one thing that Robin said that kind of made me like look at her sideways, she was like, oh, well, I didn't know that people have housewarming parties for a house that they're renting. And I'm just like, Robin, now you are one to talk. Aren't you renting that little townhouse that your own kids shaded you about, like, renting, like, owning, or whatever it is? Your own kids shaded you about y'all's living situation. So how are you going to talk about somebody renting their own place and having a housewarming party? So the fuck what? She's in Potomac. Like, where are you at? In the dunes? Like, girl, I like you, Robin, but you're getting beside yourself. Like, trying to... It's like you're... Them two remind me of Jennifer and Evelyn, season fucking 1 through 3 of Basketball Wives. Like, that's what they remind me of. And it's really just... I like Robin separate from Giselle. I don't like Giselle at all. So, like, Robin, girl, if you know what's good for yourself, if you want to stay on this show, stop trying to ride with everything that Giselle says and does. Because it's not cute and you're a grown-ass woman. Y'all are too old for this shit. So, we get over to Monique. And then... Monique, once again, like for the last few seasons that she's been on the show, she's like, I'm just tired. Like, I gotta watch these kids. I'm just tired. I gotta do this and do that. Like, I'm just tired. And to me, that's starting to sound like a little bit of depression, Monique. Like, and I can attest to this because I deal with, and I'm still dealing with depression. I knew I was depressed at the age of 10. And around the age of, I want to say around like 21, 22, I thought I had got over my depression. But at the same time, like I found myself just being tired all the time. Like my ass was just tired for no reason. Like even if I got a full night's sleep, like I was just exhausted. And then a good friend of mine, Aaliyah, let me know earlier this year that like depression can kind of like manifest in many different ways. Like exhaustion is one of them. If you find yourself being tired all the time, girl, that is something mental going on with you. And you may not be as happy as you think that you are. But Monique, she really talks about to Chris about like she needs help with like the family duties, and also with the fact that like Chris doesn't really take her out to date anymore. Like they don't really. It's like like the spark is starting to kind of fizzle out a little bit. Like he comes home and he expects everything to be done, basically like a handmaiden. Basically, like he expects a warm cooked meal and a wet ass to come home to, and Monique is kind of tired of feeling like a booty call. Like she wants to be wined and dined, and I kind of see both ways. I understand both, like where both of them are coming from. Like I want to be wined and dined. Like I don't want you to just like pound on me and that's it. Like I'm more than that. I'm your wife. Like, and a lot men need to realize that the more you do for your woman, the more she will do for you. Like, if you take good care of your woman, if you just cater to her hand and foot, and you listen to her and give her what she needs, what she asks for, trust with the plus, she will be on her knees 24/7. Like, she will cater to you. I mean, gay relationships too, because trust. Like, if I had somebody taking care of me, I would most definitely take care of them. But Chris kind of somewhat brushes her off a little bit, saying like, you know, if you need help, get the help. Like, I'm paying for it. And it's like, bro, you need to be more present. Like, that's basically what she's asking for in a nutshell. Like, you need to be more present. Like, I understand you have a good relationship with your kids, but, like, I need help, too. Like, you play football, and I know that's exhausting, but, like, come home, wine and dine me. Like, watch the kids while I want to go out and do something or hang with my friends. So, I understand both gripes. Hopefully they get it together. I really like their relationship, and I don't want them to kind of like be on the wayside due to being on reality TV, like that reality TV curse. So we then see Candace and Chris. They have a cheap date in the park, and then Chris kind of they talk about having children, and then Chris asks like, what is really holding Candace up with having children? And then Candace says that she's afraid of change, and basically like she doesn't want to repeat that same relationship that she had with her mom. Like she wants to basically go to therapy, recognize the problems that she had with her mom so she won't repeat that in the future with her child. And Chris kind of like agrees, like, you know, basically he says that he's ready whenever she is. And he kind of gives parenting advice like, you just got to do it. And then, but at the same time, Chris, like, how often is Chris with his kids? Like, how often is he with his daughter that we just find out is probably like a toddler? No shade, Chris, but like, inquiring minds want to know. So then Candace also talks about Ashley, and she also reveals that she wants to speak to Giselle at Karen's party because she wants to get ahead of the fact that like she called Giselle a monster, and they kind of she wants to talk out their issues, but you know, Robin's about to beat her to the punch, and the conversation is just going to fall to the wayside. So Karen and her assistant, they go to Karen's venue. It's a beautiful venue. I mean, not venue. I mean, they go to meet with the party planner. Like, the venue's her house. But it was a little cute scene. Like, whatever. So Bravo kind of shades Giselle's house. Like, they zoom in on all that tacky-ass furniture and decor. And it's just like, if Giselle could just, like, if she could just put shit together better. Like, the individual pieces, besides that tacky-ass red couch, that couch is so ugly, and so is that rug. But some of the other pieces looked cute, just not together, especially with that fuchsia-ass wall. Like, it's just, like, she just needs help. So, her stylist, Kyle, comes over, her consistent sissy, which I love. It's nice that that's actually her real, like, friend. So, also, when the stylist is there, she takes out this, like, disheveled ass blonde wig. Like, it looked like some wolf pussy pubes. Like, it just looked like Giselle, like, once again, can Giselle just get it together, y'all? Like, her looks are just never together to me. Like, now the wig, he was able to work some magic on the wig. Like, it looked fat as fuck, but the wig at the party later on, it looked fine. But her outfit, again, with the makeup, it was just a miss for me. But before that, the stylists, they have a talk about Jamel's actions and how they affected the kids. And basically how the kids just see right through the bullshit. And it kind of makes me think, like, I think the kids mainly see through Jamal and his antics because, for one, was Jamal really even around before the cameras came around to film this season? Like, that's probably why the girls are looking at him with a side eye, because he probably was not really that present and probably didn't come up to Potomac from Atlanta up until they started filming. So that's what I'm starting to think, and that's why the girls are just, like, not really here for this relationship, because they see that it's for a storyline. But the stylist says some kind of words, and he says that they basically have a right to feel the way they feel. But time will tell if Giselle and Jamal are genuine, keyword genuine, then they will in tune feel that love, and they will accept their own dad, like, being more present and them two being together. Because, like I've said before, they're on defense mode with their own dad, and it's crazy. Because usually if he was like, it's like the girls took better to Sherman last season than they did to their own dad. Like, it's weird, and it's mainly because of his actions. Like, your kids, like, these kids today are a lot smarter than y'all think they are, and they see things and are exposed to a lot more things than my generation was. So y'all need to get it together in front of your kids, especially on social media, because they see the antics, and if they don't see them, other kids at school are going to repeat the antics to them. So we get to the day of Karen's party. Everyone arrives. Giselle comes in, like I said, wasn't feeling her outfit. It was just like, she looked like a Mycene Barbie doll. It's just like, the dress wasn't bad, but paired with those black satin boots, I'm just like, I mean, maybe they were Stuart Weitzman boots, and that's probably why she wanted to show them off, but it's just like, no, girl. Karen honestly looked cute. I liked her whole look. I think Karen, honestly, sometimes her wigs are a hot miss, but for the most part, I think Karen is one of the better dressed women on this show, along with Monique. So Karen in confessional notices that Jamal isn't present, and she's basically like, she's not going to bring him around because she has to answer for his actions, basically. Like, it's like, have her bringing him around would probably be like low-key an embarrassment, and then it would probably shift the focus on her mess versus Giselle trying to stir up and be in everybody else's mess. So we then see Ashley arrive without Michael. And then we also see Wendy showing up. I didn't like Wendy's outfit at all. Like, this was actually one of Wendy's worst looks, in my opinion. She's been looking good up until this party. Like, I just wasn't feeling that dress at all. So Monique and Chris arrive, and she says in her confessional when she greets Candace, like, she doesn't trust Candace, basically. And it's like, y'all honestly shouldn't trust each other. Based on the way you ran up on Candace behind the scenes, behind the camera, mic'd up, like, I wouldn't really trust you either. Because Candace is basically like, Monique, you're one way off TV. Like, when it's just us, you're cool. But yet, whenever we get together in a group setting, you then turn on Candace, and then it's like a whole ambush on her. So I'm really starting to see where Candace is coming from. So Robin shows up with a bunch of pizza. Like, it was like a cute little joke, playing homage to last season where they sent a pizza man over to her house to see if she really lived in Potomac or not, which was just like shady and childish, but whatever. So Giselle and Candace, they step to the side and they have a talk. And about like Candace calling her a monster, and Giselle is deeply offended. And in my opinion, I feel like Giselle went so far to the left, like out of nowhere. Like, it just felt like I just feel like there's been worser arguments, and Giselle, you are a mean girl. Like, Giselle, you have to be self-aware enough to the fact that you are a bitch. Like, there's just no way around it. Like, you're a bitch, and you try to be the head bitch in charge, but you're not. And it's just like, the way she went off on Candace was like, okay, you know what? It's cool. Like, we could just be, let bygones be bygones, and we could just keep our relationship surface level. And then Giselle was just like, okay, fine, well, whatever. Like, again, like, she just reminds me of Evelyn Lozada. That's who she is. She is just the black version of her. And then we see, moving on to the other ladies, they sit around and they talk about, they basically like have Karen talk about like how Ray has become distant once again. Like she's driving home this storyline of them two really just not seeing eye to eye, and how like since they've been empty nesters, like the spark is gone because she's devoted her life to La Dame Fragrance and he just wants to go to Florida and retire. And I'm just like, Ray, that shit, as long as Karen is on this show, y'all asses are going to be in Potomac. Like, so you might as well just buckle up and sit in for the ride, because Karen ain't going nowhere. So we then see Karen. She comes out in this pink outfit with a Beyonce hat, and she does like the formation dance, which was really cute. But then we see Giselle and Robin from the sidelines, hating as per usual for no fucking reason. I'm like, Giselle looked cute. I mean, not Giselle, ill. Karen looked cute, and it was just really like a fun moment at her own party. Like, they just have to just shade her for no reason. I think it's because they low key want to beat her. Like, let's be real. So then Karen ends up looking for Ray, and then we see Ray's old ass going upstairs and calling it a night in the middle of the party. And that was my episode. That's my review of this episode. It was alright. It wasn't a bad episode, but it wasn't like, oh my god, thrilling. But I think next week's episode is going to make up for it. It's going to be just amazing when they all go to the lake house. And then we also see Giselle and Candace are basically like back friends again. So it's just like, whatever. But that's my views on this episode. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to come at you guys with some more content. I need to figure out some topics for this week. I kind of want to talk about Megan Thee Stallion, but like I feel like that story is still developing, so I'm gonna let that ride until something else pops off. Because Tory Lanez, his ass is going to jail, y'all. But those are my views. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna come at you guys with some more content.